Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm here with Usama for Bits. In an earlier episode, we discussed issues that happen due to a lapse in judgment or reckless behavior. But those are civil situations: fines, lawsuits, settlements. Nobody went to court in handcuffs. Today, we have two cases where the decisions got harder, and the consequences did too.
Wow. Hello, Sam. Hello, everyone. In this episode, we're going to be talking about situations, specifically two of them, in which individuals decided to alter the facts or change the truth and the consequences afterwards.
So before we get into it, quick disclaimer. We're going to avoid using legal terms like knowing conduct or criminal negligence. Instead, we're using two phrases today: misrepresentation and active cover-up. Usama, what's misrepresentation?
Misrepresentation basically is, instead of stating the fact, you're adjusting it to hide something or protect yourself or protect someone instead.
Okay, and what does an active cover-up entail?
Well, that goes further. It's not just telling the wrong story. You're actually taking deliberate steps to cover it up so that no one finds out what the true story is.
Here's our first example: SolarWinds 2020. Their software was running inside U.S. government agencies, the Treasury, the Department of Justice, Homeland Security. Russian intelligence planted malicious code inside a software update that went out to 18,000 organizations. This was one of the biggest cyber attacks in American history. But here's what matters here. Years before the attack, people inside SolarWinds were raising concerns. There was an internal document shared with the CISO describing their remote setup as, this is the actual phrase from the document, not very secure. That's what they wrote internally. But what were they telling investors publicly? That their security practices were strong. So, Usama, is this misrepresentation or an active cover-up?
Although it seems like a little bit more deliberate, it's been classified as misrepresentation.
Our second example is Uber, 2016. Their chief security officer was a former federal prosecutor, somebody who had spent his career understanding exactly where the legal lines were. Uber was already under investigation for a previous breach, and he testified that the vulnerabilities had been fixed. 10 days later, hackers contacted him directly. The same vulnerability, 57 million users and drivers. He paid the hackers in Bitcoin, had them sign paperwork that said that they hadn't taken any data, which wasn't true, they took data, and kept it from Uber's lawyers and from the new CEO when asked directly. So is this a misrepresentation or a cover-up?
Definitely a total cover-up. There was a lot of deliberate effort done in order to hide the facts, hide the truth, even lying in a testimony under oath. And I believe at the end of the case in 2022, he was convicted on 2 federal charges.
So before we go, do you have any takeaways for those watching?
Your best option is to state the facts and let the chips fall where they may. Anytime you alter things, you could be deceiving people, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And it doesn't serve you, and it doesn't serve your organization, and it definitely doesn't serve us in the cyber community, because then we don't know the facts.
Well, thank you, Usama, and thanks to those watching. We'll see you next time on Bits.